The Midway is one of the longest-serving aircrafts in the United States Navy. Operating from September 1945, just after World War II ended, until 1992 when she was decommissioned. The USS Midway is now docked in San Diego Bay and has been transformed into one of the most visited museums in the world. Every Navy ship in the United States has a name beginning with USS, which stands for United States Ship. The Midway was named after an important battle during World War II. The Battle of Midway took place on Midway Island in the Pacific, represented a decisive victory for the Allies. That's why the Navy chose Midway for the name of the ship. In June of 2004, the USS Midway opened its doors to the public. There are more than 700 docents on the Midway. One integral member of the volunteer staff is Mr. Nguyen. He had been a part of the Midway since January 2012 and has over 5,000 volunteer hours.
The volunteer work, I retired from the Navy as a scientist in January 2012. And I started the class to be a docent right at the end of January. So there was a few weeks that I was off. I knew about the Midway, but I didn't know all of the programs here. So when I thought about volunteer, the first thing when I was working, I said, well, when I retire, I think I'm going to get a job at Walmart and being the greeter. You know, it seems to be stressless, right? You just stand there and welcome to Walmart. I said, no, that would be boring because it's the same thing. If you do that, you do the same thing. You just say the same thing day in and day out, right? So I look into the Midway because that's where I have a lot of experience with, and that's where I can share a lot of my knowledge and experience with. I mean, I face the guests from different countries, from different part of the country, and I can share my experience. So it's exciting, and that's why I selected the Midway as a place I volunteer. And by the way, I volunteer about 100 hours a month since 2012. So I'm about to get a 5,000 hours award, which is nothing, but that's how much time I spend on the ship. In Vietnam, growing up, we do not have much choice. You have to excel to the next grade every year because otherwise you're going to be drafted into the service because we are always at war, okay? I grew up, I was born in Hanoi, which is North Vietnam. In 1954, I was 7. The country was split in half. So I came down south with my family, escaped from communism. In the south, I started in Da Nang, which is a central Vietnam. I went to school there for a year, and after that, we moved south into Saigon. Well, 15 days before I got drafted into the Army, I joined or volunteered into the Air Force because Air Force and Navy are the two selective services. So I escaped being a ground pounder and being a pilot. I feel proudly to serve in the military because, as I said before, we at war against communism. So we have to fight them in order to be in freedom, limited freedom, but at least we have freedom rather than being under the communism. I don't talk about that a lot. The reason being is, whenever you talk about that, you relive that experience. And that's sometimes, you know, I want to suppress, even though I feel that, especially, you know, it's coming up on the 41st years that I left the country. When I came here in 1968, I was a student pilot. I came here as on the invitation travel order to go through flight school training. I was 21. The second time I came through, I was 27. See, I was a captain in the Air Force. I was a pilot. My status was already established. I have things, you know. I have a car, I have a house, you know, I have everything. So my social status was established. When I came here, I have nothing. You know, people used to carry my luggage when I came here the first time. this time, I have to step the grass down so that I can get into my Army bunk bed.
Even after losing everything, one thing he did not lose was his passion for serving in the Navy and continued to do so by serving in the United States Navy.
I want to continue to contribute into my foster motherland, because in order to maintain the freedom, the liberty that we have here, somebody has to spend time in the military, right? To defend this country. And that's why there's a saying that my weak hand is your freedom. War is an awful thing, but that's something unavoidable, okay? And if you're in that, you should perform to your most ability, okay? And to accomplish the mission that you're assigned to do. That's why whenever we talk about citation or talk about medals, because that's always mean somebody got to get killed or die before you get your medal, all right? So I have a tendency not to talk a lot about that because it's bring back a lot of bad memories. I will share with you a video clip that's still in existence today on the internet when I received the medal that was pinned on me by the Secretary of the Air Force in 1970. And I tumbled onto that website in 2011. And the website, I think, inaugurated sometime at the end of 2010. And I just happened to be there. And I saw myself when I was 21, walking and standing there and received the medal. And I was really excited about that.
Through many years of serving in the Navy, Mr. Nguyen still wants to be a part of the community and give service for younger generations.
It's different every day, and that's the excitement that I get from showing up every day. You know, you get to meet different people. You are in different duty assignment on every watch. So it's I don't think it's ever a bad day. And as a volunteer, we have our choice, if either show up or not showing up. And I have not failed to show up on any watch that I sign up for. The nice thing about this is there's no obligation, okay? You're here for fun, excitement, and sharing, and entertain people. So physically, you may get a little bit tired after walking back and forth and talking for long hours. But then, you know, you get the satisfaction of human interface, okay? And I'm one of the a strong believer, or a strong advocate for people connection, communication among us. So once I share that, I mean, there's no exhaustion at the end of the day. I mean, physically I get tired a little bit, but that's it. It's not like a long working day, you know, like when I was working. I encourage people to volunteer. If they can afford the time and effort, it's a good thing, because not only you get the enjoyment or the excitement out of sharing your knowledge and information and entertainment with the guests that come on board, but you also continue on the spirit of volunteer. And I think it's a really good spirit that the next generation should carry on. And that's a message I want to endorse.